America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Mr. Sabosley, take over.
Okay, we have a longer than usual agenda tonight. We have 22 items to go through. We're going to start with planning and economic development, the SWIC lot line revision. I do know that we received this last month and council acted to accept the application as complete. There has been back and forth between the engineer and our engineer. DJ, my understanding is that the recommendation from the engineer is to move forward with this and approve the subdivision.
That's correct.
Okay.
Any questions or comments? Okay, well, that'll be an agenda item.
Item number 2, SRK and American Dream Home lot line revision. Once again, this was approved by council, accepted as complete. This is on Duane Avenue and Baum Road, a corner lot. There was a lot line revision. Same thing, my understanding is that the engineer has issued a consistency letter recommending approval.
Questions or comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Item number 3, a little different here. So typically, as I have been saying, our process, this is the Tresco plan of lots. Our process is to accept the application as complete, then during the next month, work with the applicant for final approval. This was a very good submission. There's no reason for us to wait any further just to accept it as complete. We have received a letter, DJ, this is a lot line revision, and I think you can see in the manager's report the existing parcels and how the parcels are going to change size. But DJ, my understanding is that we have received a letter from KU Resources recommending approval of this.
Correct.
Okay.
Questions or comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Item number 4 is an executive session item, proposed liquor license transfer. At the June meeting, council held a public hearing concerning the proposed transfer of a liquor license into Plum Boro. Like I said, that is an executive session issue that will be covered in executive session after this meeting. Agenda item?
Oh, do we need, is executive, are we gonna,
It's up to you. Bruce?
What was the question?
do we need to make that a motion to put on the agenda if we're discussing it? We're not sure if we're gonna put it on the agenda yet.
Well, I think we have to, just
Oh,
based
do
on,
we?
based on the timeline. Yeah.
Okay, all right, any comments or questions about the liquor license transfer? The only thing I ask is, if we do take this and put this on the agenda for the voting meeting, I want read into the record the issues that we have with it, like we talked about. This is just an initial talk, and they still have to cover and do everything that we ask them to do in order for this to be finalized.
Yeah, they have to go through getting approvals. Just briefly, they're gonna have to get the Liquor Control Board to agree to all of this. But they will also have to apply and get all of our, come in conformance with all of our land use ordinances, which takes you back to the planning commission, on to you, and then possibly a vote at some point.
Okay.
So just to provide you with a level of comfort, either way, whether it's approved or rejected, there will be a resolution passed by council, outlining those issues.
Okay, so any other questions, comments, discussion before we take this? Okay, this will be on the agenda for next month, or next week.
Okay, moving to personnel and management. Item number 5 is an appointment to the zoning hearing board, an alternate member. The Plum Zoning Hearing Board is comprised of 5 full-time members. The municipality's planning code, the planning code for the state of Pennsylvania, allows up to 3 alternates to be appointed by the board. These alternates can, take place. They ask questions at hearings. They can even vote if they're appointed by the ZHB solicitor. the alternates help us when the regular members can't attend. We do have an opening for a third alternate, and Councilman Schlock has requested that Gary Motor be the person appointed to that position.
Okay, any discussion, questions, comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Item number 6 under Personnel and Management is an executive session item dealing with a potential administrative employment agreement for someone, an administrative employee.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Item number 7 is the resignation of a police patrol officer. That will also be covered in executive session.
Again, any questions or comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item also.
Item number 8, in your packet, you'll probably see a copy of a letter that we received from the Pennsylvania Municipal League asking that the borough work with them to appoint a legislative liaison to work with them. So typically, the PA Municipal League, they send out notices to us. They have publications, for the most part, dealing with proposed legislation. I deal with this almost every day. Carrie, who's sitting here, Carrie and I, if I have an issue, I reach out to her. She helps to put me in touch with the appropriate person in Harrisburg or locally to discuss those issues. They are asking that the borough appoint a legislative liaison. It could be someone on council, it could be a staff member, to help respond to issues that come up in a timely manner. So, for example, I know in the last month, we received a notice from the Pennsylvania Municipal League about a proposed bill in Harrisburg that would allow the state to take the power away from boroughs and townships when it comes to determining where certain facilities can be built for electrical power generation. And obviously, we were against, anything that takes the power away from local government. So I reached out to Carrie. We talked about these issues. I know that that day that issue was supposed to be discussed in a committee in Harrisburg. I think due to the overwhelming push from the Pennsylvania Municipal League, that item was at least dropped from that agenda in Harrisburg. So, I'm not saying that issue is going to go away, but it's these things that come up day to day that need some immediate attention. So they're just asking the council appoint someone to that position where they can reach out and try and get some answers in a somewhat timely fashion.
Questions or comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Okay. Item number 9, Public Works. It's a request from staff, a request to advertise for a laborer position. At our last meeting, council promoted Mr. Fashandy to Public Works Supervisor. So we do have another opening for a laborer. So staff is just requesting permission to start the process to advertise for applicants for this position.
Questions or comments? Okay, that'll be the agenda item.
Item number 10, the last item in personnel management, is an executive session item. This is a Public Works collective bargaining issue that staff is asking to speak to council about in executive session.
Questions or comments? Okay, that'll be on the agenda.
Okay. Public safety, item number 11. This comes from Chief Conley. Right now, through right-to-know requests, we get, Jim, how many right-to-know requests would you say we get a month?
10 to 20.
10 to 20. The majority of them are not police-oriented, but we do get some. And some of these items, right-to-know requests, request actual body cam video from the police, in-car police video. And those issues, typically, the borough would talk with the DA or talk with the borough solicitor. The Allegheny County District Attorney's Office has reached out to municipalities to see who would be interested in them taking the lead on those issues. Talking with Chief Conley, he's certainly in favor of that. So it would be a memorandum of understanding with the Allegheny County District Attorney Office. Anytime we get a right to know with these items, we would turn it over to them. Obviously, we would still have to respond in a timely manner as outlined in the right to know law, but this would take the burden off of our police department in dealing with these issues.
Questions or comments? So I have a question. So then any type of a right to know that would come to our police department, we would send that to the DA and have them handle it, yay or nay?
No, dealing with video issues for the most part.
Just the video?
Correct.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, agenda item.
Okay. Item number 12 is also a police department issue. It's a Plate Smart contract renewal. So right now, the borough of Plum has access to traffic cameras. And those traffic cameras, the backbone of that technology system is provided by a group called Plate Smart. The borough has a contract with Plate Smart, as do other municipalities, to provide this service. Right now, the DA and the chiefs of police are looking at evaluating or reevaluating Plate Smart's performance moving forward. Examining our contract with Plate Smart, our contract automatically renews unless we provide them 90 days notice that we are not going to renew that contract. The chief is recommending that we do provide that notice. And it doesn't mean that our relationship with Plate Smart is going to go away. We're just saying that we don't want the existing contract to automatically renew. The DA's office is working with the Chiefs of Police Association to look at other groups out there that provide these service, trying to find who provides the best service, who has the best technology. This doesn't end if council chooses to provide notice. It doesn't end our relationship with Plate Smart. We can continue to move forward. We're just going to not do it in a 3-year agreement that locks us up and doesn't give us flexibility to move if there's another provider that we choose to go with. So typically, the borough does not enter into these agreements. We're steadfast in the administrative department that we don't want these to renew. If you look, for example, at our contract with Bureau Veritas, they're our third-party building inspection agency. Every 2 years, we're entering into a new agreement with possibly new terms. We don't want to get locked in long-term. So Chief Connolly's recommending that we do provide the notice prior to the end of this contract. I think we have to give 90 days notice. So we'd want to provide that notice certainly before the end of September.
Questions, comments? Okay, that'll be the agenda item.
Item number 12 is an executive session item, a potential memorandum of understanding with fire departments related to obviously fire department issues.
Any questions or comments? That'll be an agenda item.
Item number 14 is also an executive session item, discussion about authorizing the advertisement of an ordinance to amend the civil service ordinance. There's a proposal to make those amendments, and that conversation would be had in executive session.
Questions or comments? Okay, agenda item.
Right now, we have nothing under Parks and Recreation. Item number 15, Finance, Mardusel Audit Report. So council, you're aware that every year we have our third-party CPAs produce an audit report as required by law. Our finance department started the 2024 review with Mardusel in late December of 2024. Finance department, led by Mr. Whitico, has been taking care of that issue. The auditor came in to meet with the Finance Committee last Monday to present that audit report, and the Finance officer and myself are recommending, as we do every year, that Mardusel come and present their findings to council at next week's meeting.
Questions or comments? Okay, there'll be an agenda item.
Okay, under roads, equipment, and grounds, item number 16. Every 3 years, the borough has entered into an agreement with Allegheny County for snow and ice removal on Renton Road, which is a county-owned road. The agreement is for Renton Road from New Texas up to Renton Avenue. And Renton Avenue is the street that leads over to the old Renton Volunteer Fire Department. The reimbursement amount for this is $4,000 per year, and this is an item that Public Works has covered for a number of years now. So staff is recommending that council put this on their agenda for consideration.
Does $4,000 cover what we have to do?
I don't know if that number is negotiable. There is a clause in the agreement that, if there is extraordinary circumstances, that we can petition for more money. But that number is even higher than the previous agreement. So the numbers do go up every year of the 3-year agreement. But that's the number we've been working with, ballpark for the last number of years.
How many miles is that roughly? Like 4 or 5?
No. Renton Road from New Texas to Renton Avenue,
3?
mile.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, it's right up there by the,
Yeah, I know where it is, but that's only a mile?
no more than a mile and a quarter, mile and a half.
Okay.
Not that far.
All right.
Are there other county roads that we would want to take care of?
Not that the county is going to do that themselves, but
Put it this way, are there other roads they don't take care of that we prefer to take care of ourselves?
I don't know that answer.
Okay.
We have a separate agreement with PennDOT for some state roads.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Okay, item number 17, O-Block Pond. So, O-Block Pond is the first of 2 projects, or 3, coming out of the 2019 flood that we are looking to award. And DJ, you thought I was ignoring you, but I'm saving you up for this one here. I think there's a lot to talk about. There are a lot of issues here, not only what the project is, but the bid for the project too.
Yeah, I was getting used to the one-word answers when you were asking earlier. So I guess I'll start. This project's related to expanding the existing footprint of the municipal-owned detention pond. It's going to include regrading the spillway, replacing some of the structures, and roughly increasing the storage capacity by about 195,000 cubic feet. The way this will work, it'll basically, as the stream floods, it'll accept some of the water that would typically go downstream. It'll be diverted into the pond, retain it back, and then over time it'll release it at a slower rate, hopefully including some infiltration to help address some of the downstream flow, but basically reducing the downstream flooding. The 2025 budget included $955,000 for engineering and construction of this project. To aid in this, borough staff's worked with the Turtle Creek COG, Cary, and KU to have the GEDTF grant funds that we received for a different storm project that's still going through permitting, in the amount of $150,000 transferred to this pond. So we're taking that off of whatever the bids happen to come in June, the Turtle Creek Valley COG ended up opening the bids. The apparent winner, roughly $725,000, was announced. However, that's contingent on Turtle Creek COG checking the math. When they checked the math, a person that was supposed to be the second lowest bid, it turned out that they made a decimal point error in their math, and they became the low bidder based on that corrected equation. So we've determined that the result was actually 3D Mirror Construction being the low bidder with the amount of $710,955. So what we would be asking you guys to do next week is to formally award the low bid to 3D Mirror Construction for $710,955. And then for purposes of clarification, less the $150,000 from the grant out of our budget it would be $560,955 to construct the improvements to the pond facility.
What kind of time frame is this gonna take, once they start?
Yeah, weather depending. Yeah, it's weather depending. It's, the ideal scenario is start in August, the low flow, so less impact of flooding. So, but I would guess in the realm of 2 to 3 months to be complete and out of there.
Okay, so if they're in the midst of construction, is there any danger that if we do get some type of rain event, that that pond would then be bypassed, it would make it worse?
No, if in the meantime, it would just operate as it normally would.
Okay.
The only caveat, during construction, dirt gets disturbed. There potentially could be a little bit more muddy water, but we have an E&S control plan to plan on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so at no time during the construction will the flow be decreased in the event of a rain event?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I do have one comment. If you look in your packet, you're going to see a form called O-Block Pond Funding, or O-Block Pond and Land Project. Working with Mr. Whitaker, we've determined, I've asked him to put these together, and staff works with him, just to put together for council an idea of what the project is. It shows the bid opening date. It shows the bidders. The low bidder was $710,000. The high bidder was $940,000. As you scroll down the page, it looks at the potential award date, where it was approved. You can see the 2025 budget. The approved amount, $955,000. Of that, if you remember, we did condemn property for this. That property owner has not moved forward to request a board of viewers for this, but we do have the money budgeted in case that does happen. And as DJ said, we were able, with Kerry's help, to get a previous grant that we had for another project that was probably 2 years away from construction, moved over to this. So that was another $150,000. So we do have the funding for this, and I would like council to start looking for these. Hopefully it provides answers to you about how these projects are constructed and how they're funded. And it does help staff too, to memorialize this before the project starts.
Okay, so the owner of the property has not given us any issue. Do we send him a letter stating that we're starting this?
No, he was here in front of council, and I think that Mr. Zunich said that it's his responsibility to start that process.
That's correct.
Okay.
He has not.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Just for clarification, the project's gonna start in August?
That's correct.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Before I move on,
Oh.
so we have a potential extra amount of like $400,000 here, right? Total, when you factor in the grant, and if there's no money for the condemnation.
So we have factored in the budget number about $200,000 for the condemnation. With
What do you do?
that, I guess, maybe in the long run, yes, we could. In fact, we do have 2 grant applications in for that project. One was for $1 million, and the other one that we just submitted this year was for $500,000. So I've been working with Carrie in her office. They're working with our elected representatives in Harrisburg to point out the importance of that project and the importance of providing funding for a project that is going to be $1.2 to $1.3 million in today's dollars, let alone what it would cost 2 years from now.
Well, my point is that we should try it. If we're gonna have extra money like that, like a big chunk like that, we should find an appropriate spot for it. Maybe it's something to do with the fire fund or something like that.
As we move through the agenda, your opinion may change. We didn't even get to some of these change orders on other projects.
Okay, any other questions? Sorry, any other questions or comments? Okay, that'll be the agenda item.
Item number 18, under roads, equipment, and grounds, authorizement of advertisement of an ordinance to accept Parkside Phase 2. So Parkside Estates is the housing plan, the Miranda plan across from the Boyce Park basketball courts and dog park. They've pretty much built out Phase 1, which we have already accepted, and now they're asking that we accept Phase 2. So KU Resources, as well as Mr. Prokopic's department, has worked with the developer to get the inspections and bonds in place for that. Charlie, so you've been working on that, and it's ready for dedication.
Yes, that's correct.
So typically, the dedication is done by ordinance, and we're just asking for council's permission to start that process and advertise the ordinance for that to be an agenda item, or considered an agenda item at the August meeting.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, agenda item.
Item number 19, Meadow Hill Village bid award. So as part of our attempt to get grants, we were awarded a grant at the end of 24, beginning of 25, for some MS4 permit work that we need to do from year to year. In this case, it's for the retrofit of the Meadow Hill Village detention pond. And I say Meadow Hill Village, and you probably are scratching your head, where's Meadow Hill Village? There's no sign and no one calls it Meadow Hill Village, but is it Leanne Court? Off of Old Leechburg Road. That one street is considered, at least from a development standpoint, as Meadow Hill Village. At the bottom of the road, there is a detention pond that needs to be retrofitted. We did receive a grant for $80,000. Originally, when we applied for the grant, we had this paired with the pond over at Cherry Springs to be retrofitted. Obviously, we didn't get enough money to do that. So we're looking to award the bid for that. Now, in this case, the bid has yet to be awarded. The bids are going to be opened on Wednesday, and we will provide council with a summary of those bids so that it can be awarded at the July meeting. Hopefully, we will have an August start date on that project also. As far as the Cherry Springs project, our Public Works Department is capable of doing that, and we're hoping that they can complete the retrofit of that project in 2025.
Okay, so the Meadow Hill Pond retrofit, we're looking at probably about a $95,000 cost? As what the engineer thinks.
I don't know. We'll find out when they open that. But I mean, we've been surprised before. Numbers high, numbers low, but probably between $80,000 and $90,000.
Okay. Questions or comments? Okay, it'll be an agenda item.
Item number 20, purchase of a leaf machine. So from time to time, the borough replaces equipment, whether it's police cars, fire trucks, public works trucks, snow plows, but obviously in the fall we do a lot of leaf collection. Within the last year or two, we did replace a machine, and we did get a grant this past year. I want to give credit to our Public Works Department for putting that recycling grant request together. So we were awarded a grant in the amount of $116,820 to purchase a leaf machine. The actual bid on the CoStar's contract is about $23,000 higher. We're working with Finance Director Mr. Whitco to find out where in the general fund we will get the rest of that money, but we're good to go, and we're asking council to allow the purchase of that leaf machine.
Any questions or comments?
One question. The current machine we have, is it still operational and working?
So we have 3 machines.
Okay.
Yeah, so
They're all operational?
so they, I wish I had the years, how old they were.
Right.
Obviously, one of them we just purchased.
Sure.
The other 2 are aging, and Public Works suggested, recommended that we use these grant funds to purchase another one.
Sure.
Did you say we don't have money in the budget for it?
We do. Well, I mean, we will find the difference of $23,000. We're working with the finance department to find out exactly where that is, but we will be fine for that.
Dave, quick question. Earlier in the discussion, you grants that they were gonna open bids.
Yes.
Come in.
Yes, for Meadow Hill, or for the storm pond, yes.
Let's hypothetically say we get a grant for 100,000 for something like that, and the bid comes in at 80, and we got 20 grand left over. Are we able to use that money for stuff like this?
Typically, no. So typically, when we apply for grants, there's a certain scope of work. A good example is the demolition of our old borough building. We received a grant for $250,000 for that. The bids came in astonishingly low. I want to say it was $60,000 or $70,000. We're fighting right now to try and be able to use the difference of that for that property. We're not asking to do it somewhere else, but right now we're losing that battle.
I thought we were gonna have a windfall there.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Item number 21, under roads, equipment, and grounds. Barnes Road change order. So Barnes Road is a project that council awarded, I don't know the exact date, it was either in April or May, for the repair of the slide on Barnes Road. That job is coming to an end and should be done by the time school opens. But Charlie is here tonight, the borough engineer. He's going to talk about change order number 1, the request for a change order in the amount of $79,000. And Charlie's going to ease your concerns here. I don't understand all of this, but I'll turn it over to you, Charlie, and you can walk us through this here.
Sure. So next month, you'll be seeing a actual change order for price reduction of the contract. So long story short, after we started excavating field conditions, we were able to exclude, the big item is the gabion baskets. So we are actually cutting down the quantity of the gabion baskets, which was a high unit price. We were able to use riprap or big stone in a large portion of the project. This change order right now is just really establishing new unit prices for them bringing in the stone, a different type of pipe. We're actually going to be eliminating we're actually doing one 15-inch perforated pipe instead of a pipe plus a 6-inch under drain. So long story short is this change order might say around $80,000, but I anticipate next month is going to be a price reduction of $110,000. So in the end, I believe we're going to be at least saving $30,000 from the original contract price. So, yeah, I was going to try to do the math to balance the contract out right now, but because some of the quantities are still in process, I just wanted to have a final number at the end. So,
Good news.
yeah. So,
Any other comments or questions? Any, that'll be an agenda item.
And typically I would wait, knowing that this is going to even itself out, but this is money that's already been spent by the contractor, correct? So while we're approving this, we're gonna keep Charlie to his word. We're gonna play back this tape next month if we don't have that reduction. But that's good news, and I have to say KU has done a good job on most of our projects, bringing them in under budget. So kudos to them. So item 22, this is gonna be a hard one here. So Abers Creek change orders. So if you remember last year in the summer of 2024, we entered into a joint project with the PBMA, this Abers Creek. For us, it was the renovation of a storm sewer line and culvert. For the PBMA, it was for a water line and anything else? Water line? Just water line.
just water line.
Yeah. And we also, as part of ours, in addition, we had some storm bank stabilization that was unrelated to this project, but was tied back, I think, to the O-Block Pond project,
That's correct.
where we had to relocate some wetlands. Does that sound about right?
We were removing a stream from the Oblock Pond project, and we had to do stream mitigation credits here.
Right.
Yeah.
So we entered into a joint contract with the PBMA, and when you look at the contract, give me a second here. The Plum portion of that, the base was about 644,000, and PBMA was about 293,000. So almost $1 million contract that we put out. As this project moved forward, since it was our contract, anytime we have change orders, large change orders, we bring them before council. So previously, council had approved a change order of about $45,000 for the PBMA. We were reimbursed by them. Change order number 2, which I think was in February of this year, $102,000 for PBMA. It was part of their waterline project, not part of ours. It was reimbursed. Just been made aware as we were trying to close out this project, I'm going to turn this back to Charlie. We have a request for 3 additional change orders. 2 of them belong to Plum Boro, 1 of them belongs to PBMA. So, Charlie, if you want to start with change order number 3, this is change order in the amount of $23,325.45 related to the stream bank portion of the project.
Sure. Thank you, Dave. So change order number 3, is stream remediation corrections. Like we said, this was to do the mitigation from the Obla Pond, and that involved the joint permit with the Army Corps of Engineers, who are sticklers, for lack of a better word. We followed their specifications and details to the T. Just for example, we had to do rock boulder veins within the stream. We did that. We chose an appropriate size rock that we felt that wouldn't move. And a few months ago, we got a violation letter from the Army Corps of Engineers after they came out after the fact, stated that it was in their opinion that these boulders would move. I strongly contested it back and forth, but with these type of letters, there's always risk of penalties. So W.A. Batrakis was on site doing other yard restoration and things of that sort, so we decided to proceed with those remediation repairs, just to not get any violations. So that I know it seems like a high number, but to do that, they had to dam the stream again, pump around, rip pretty much everything, the rock involved out, and put new in. So that's unfortunately what occurred there.
Well, so if we decided to use a stone, why weren't the Army Corps of Engineers asked if that would be sufficient?
They typically don't provide any additional inspections during it, or really any communication. Yeah, I share your frustration. Yeah.
So because they didn't come out and take a look at it while we were doing it, because they couldn't be bothered,
Yeah.
we get penalized.
It seems like they like to try to find something at the end.
Is it rectified?
It is rectified now. And
That's
they're
why,
out.
it cost us $24,000.
Rectified it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is change order number 3. So change order number 4, which is a new change order, this is a Plum Boro item, in the amount of $64,010.55. Charlie, I'll turn it back to you. As we know, this project sort of lagged with the final paving of the project, and certainly had heard from a lot of you guys up here about when that was going to be paved. But do you want to explain why there's an addition here for the paving?
Sure. Yes. So long story short, it was a very complicated project. A ton of utilities jammed into that intersection. The main reason why the quantities went over is a mismarked gas line during the design and even dig calls. Whenever they started excavating, we originally planned the 60-inch culvert, which is a large pipe, to be exactly where the old culvert was. We would rip out the old culvert and put it in. Upon excavation, the gas line was over top of the old culvert. So that means not the entire way, but about maybe a third, we had to jump back into the roadway. And being in the roadway, that it caused additional stone. It's a large trench opening additional asphalt restoration. And on top of that, we had to still deal with the old failing culvert that were underneath multiple people's driveways. And with us not being able to dig and remove that, we had to use fillable grout. And part of that was the fillable grout to fill that in. So it was definitely conscientious of looking into the budget constraint, but all in all, I think it is a fair value for the amount of extra work that and adjustments we had to make during the project.
So who misplaced or who misdiagnosed the gas line?
The gas company, yeah.
So why can't we go after them then for this?
Unfortunately, there is a chance, we could,
I say we do it.
contend it.
They mismarked it and it cost us $65,000 extra dollars.
Yeah,
That's a joke.
Yeah, and DJ can probably speak to this being in the surveying industry, but there's PA American one. PA one call law.
Yeah, when you read into like the PA Utility Commission, the PA one call regulations, for the design one call, they don't really hold any accountability. The accurate location comes in under the construction one call, which typically doesn't happen until the contractor's on site with his equipment and he marks it. For the construction, then the one call is made and the utility companies come out, do their own markings. And like Charlie said, in this case, during the design, they gave information that the gas line was in the yard. They gave indication the gas line was under the road. KU designed the sewer through the front yards, and when the construction crews showed up and did their one call notice, it was the exact opposite. So these extra costs were incurred related to the road, the gravel backfill, things like that.
So they get off scot-free and it's costing us $65,000?
Well, wait a minute, so if we'd identified this in the beginning, we would have had to do this work anyway or something?
Yeah, the scope of work wouldn't be any different if they had marked it correctly in the beginning. Yeah.
It would have been more expensive to begin with.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
That's change order number 4, so now we're at change order number 5. The good news is this is not our change order. We do need to approve it only because it was in this joint contract, it was our contract. So this is a change order for the municipal authority for $99,664.50. And I mean, you can tell us what it's about, but at the end of the day, we're going to be reimbursed by the PBMA for this.
Yeah, it's just really, they expanded on the project, expanding the 12-inch water line down to 286, expanding it. Originally, it was only supposed to be the culvert replacement. So all in all, I'm glad the PBMA chose to spend that extra money. It's enhancing public safety for water lines, so.
Questions or comments? Okay, agenda item.
That's all I have.
Okay, that brings us to non-agenda items.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt here. I just had a question about item number 8. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to ask
Yes.
that. About the appointing a legislative liaison for the PA Municipal League. Is that going to be a staff member or a consultant?
Whatever we want it to be.
Pardon me?
It could be whatever we want it to be. It could be a council member or a staff member. It's whatever council decides.
I see, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
No?
Okay.
Actually, I have something. When are they paving, Dave, this year?
So typically our paving starts in August, and that gives our crews a chance to do final repairs on storm sewers. My understanding is that is close to being done. I have talked with Mr. Binney about that. Obviously, the first item of concern for us is School Road. The school will open to students in mid-August, and we want to make sure that project is done. So I would say, Charlie, have you talked with Tresco about that?
We have a pre-construction meeting this week, so I will have an answer with, a better schedule.
We'll get that.
Yeah.
Because my concern is, when I'm driving through Plum, I'm hitting a ton of potholes. New Texas, Evansburg, is it Evans? Edenburg. Is there any way you can patch them until
Hey,
they're on the list to be done?
how many of them are on state roads?
Well, I mean, Center New Texas is bad, and
So-
Lynchburg's bad.
Obviously, if we know of a pothole that's dangerous, is gonna cause damage, we wanna repair it. I think we just have to figure out, you know, if there are potholes that can wait a few weeks and we don't spend the money doing that, fine, but if there are things that are causing damage that are dangerous, we wanna know about them, and, you know, we wanna at least fix them temporarily.
That's my suggestion, because that Center New Texas, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and Old Lynchburg's gonna start getting bigger.
So in Center, New Texas, we're doing, I say this end of Center, New Texas, so
That's the part
from
that's
New
the problem.
Texas up to, I always forget this street name there at the stop sign.
Is it
Beach.
No, it's past Beach. Charlie, what's,
McJunkin.
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 Yeah, it's McJunkin, I should know that. So that's the section, I'll be honest, I drive that section a lot. I just need you to tell me where those potholes are. I don't run into them, but if you give me the location, I'm more than happy to send Public Works out to do that.
So, may I ask, as far as, I know you're familiar with this, because we talked, 3,700 block of Sardis. I mean, it's still there, it's been there for 3 months, somebody's gonna get killed.
Yeah, that's a, that is a PennDOT road, Mr. Purcell. I did notify PennDOT of that pothole, and I have followed up with them. I even offered that W.A. Petrakis, who is paving at the other end, at least bring some asphalt down to fill that in. So I will make that a priority for you to try to get that accomplished.
Jerry, I think you brought that to our attention prior to Memorial Day.
Yes.
And we did reach out to PennDOT at that time
Yeah.
about that.
Great.
Okay, any citizen who wishes to talk on any non-agenda item, come forward, state your name and address, and you can say what you need to say.
Thank you.
My name is Pam Fratangelo, and I live at 1298 Old Leechburg Road. My husband Mario and I are here tonight to ask the council to urgently call attention to the escalating issue of deer overpopulation in Plum, which has caused significant health risks, property damage, and public safety hazards. My family has been severely impacted, and I urge you to take immediate action to address this crisis. On my property alone, we have observed 23 deer regularly gazing and roaming. This overpopulation has led to substantial consequences for my household. First, my husband and I have both contracted Lyme disease from ticks carried by these deer, resulting in significant health challenges. We dealt with many symptoms, including joint pain, fatigue, and I am personally still dealing with side effects. Second, in the past year, the community's safety is at risk. I hit a deer on Unity Center Road, resulting in $3,500 damage to my car. The deer have destroyed numerous shrubs, ruined our grass, ate from our vegetable garden, with costs prohibiting us from replacing these items. Lastly, at the end of the winter, we found a dead deer in our window well. We reported this to the police and the Game Commission. Again, this is a health and safety concern. I recently read in the Advance Leader that Oakmont is doing something concerning a survey about this situation. I respectfully urge the council to implement effective deer population management strategies. Thank you for allowing me to present this critical issue at today's meeting. I trust the council will act swiftly to protect our community from the growing dangers posed by deer overpopulation.
Pam had contacted me, and I brought this issue up when I was on council in '98. And the council at that time, how do I say it? They lacked the, they didn't want to move forward with it because they caved to community pressure. Just to buttress what Pam had said, I've been doing some work and I've asked the police to drill down through their database to give me some more data, particularly the Plum Boro. Pennsylvania is ranked #1 in the country for deer-related vehicle accidents. State Farm Insurance estimates 150,000 deer collisions in Pennsylvania in 2024. In 2023, in Pennsylvania, there were, out of the 150,000 collisions in '24, there were 1,223 injuries and 23 fatalities due to deer. Allegheny County is ranked first in Pennsylvania with 309 deer vehicle accidents in '24. And from 2023 to the present, we have spent, on our insurance, $34,464 repairing our police vehicles. This is an issue. Oakmont is doing a study on it. Ross Township already has an ordinance in place. Upper St. Clair has done it. Fox Chapel has done it. We got more deer than they have because of Boyce Park up there. Plus, I haven't even got into the farmers are sustaining, as well as homeowners, property damage from these four-legged rodents. But I'll go get more data and bring it up to you, because I want to bring up how many times our police have been called out to a deer vehicle accident, and how many times they had to discharge their weapon to put the deer out of its misery. So I'd like to get this, if not this month, next month's agenda. I'll have more data to move forward, and hopefully this council will have the fortitude to move forward with doing something.
What are the options?
Kill them.
Let's do anything.
There's places that are putting out, they're doing archery. Why? There's a company, when we were up at the ALOM, that comes out and does archery. I just asked the hunter over here. There are places, instead of bringing in a firm and paying them to harvest the deer, they set up and they license hunters, and their test was if you could put 3 arrows into a paper plate at 15 feet, they gave you a license to hunt the deer anytime, and like in Boyce Park, but you have to get permission from the county to do that.
It's called culling, and so
It's
what they
culling.
would do, yeah, they would have a testing area, and then it would be archery.
Archery, yeah,
So-
no
so-
rifle.
So the pros are, you do have people who are regular hunters who want the meat, they'll donate it or keep it or do whatever. But now you also come to the other side, and you may get more deer that are hurt and going on the people's property. So there's a good and a bad to both. I understand what needs to be done. What my recommendation would be, get your information, bring it to us. Let's investigate it and see what we can come up with and how we can go about doing it.
Are you suggesting for August meeting?
We could, if you can get it in time for August, yeah.
I'll have it in time for
Yeah,
August.
I don't think
I
we have
will not-
enough time to put it on this agenda for this month.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then we can look into avenues. Anything else?
Gary?
We can very well contact the state game commission. There's been a lot of problems with Lyme's disease as well. So I think there's a feel that we can go up the chain too. So I would say do your homework as well. But I think you're 100% right.
Well, I know Oakmont is doing the study, and I can tell you that witnessed a deer at 6:30 in the afternoon crossing the lower boulevard or railroad tracks and walked up the cement steps to the upper boulevard. I thought it was going shopping. There's too many of these around, and that's it. Okay. You got his, see what I'm saying? Next month, he got his word.
Anything else?
We'll reach out.
Anyone else wish to comment? Okay, we are not going to move into adjournment. We have several executive issues to discuss, and at that time, we will adjourn.